The park was buzzing with activity. Children and parents and pets all playing in the lush green fields. August had been so hot, but the first chill of September was finally drifting through the air, and everyone was celebrating. M sat down at a long table, and the other girl, Ms. Smith, sat down 2 chairs away from her. She was wearing a white cardigan with a gray pencil skirt, which would make most people look like a librarian, but on Miss Smith, it looked smarter, keener, sharper. M could imagine her cutting through a crowd like a hot knife through butter. She could also imagine Ms. Smith disappearing into the same crowd if she needed to, and no one would ever remember that she was there.
"Miss Freeman, I am Ms. Watts," the interviewer announced. "We will start your interview now, so please make yourself comfortable."
Ms. Watts sat on the other side of the long table, directly across from M. M started to wish she had worn something other than a blazer. Next to Ms. Smith, she felt like a child in a school uniform. Still, M composed herself and began her speech. "I always knew I had a purpose, Ms. Watts."
"I'm sure you do, Ms. Freeman, but allow me to ask you a few questions first," Ms. Watts interrupted. "Can you tell me which direction is southwest?"
This was weird, thought M, but of course, she knew the answer. M pointed behind herself and to the left. "That way."
"And how can you be certain?" asked Ms. Watts.
"The sun," said M, motioning outside the window.
"And if there was no sun?" she asked.
"You mean if it were nighttime?" asked M.
"If that's what no sun means to you, then yes," said Miss Watts.
"Then the stars."
"And if there were no stars?"
"Like if it were cloudy?" asked M.
Ms. Watts wrote something down quickly in her notebook, then smiled. "Ms. Freeman, perhaps we are getting ahead of ourselves. Can you tell me how many stories are in this building?"
13 stories, but the elevator says 14 because it's supposed to be bad luck to have a 13th floor, M answered.
"And the buildings around us, how many stories do they have?"
"The building to the left has 7 stories. The building to the right looked to be 15 stories. There is a parking lot behind us, which is probably 4 stories plus a roof deck, and there's no building in front of us, just a park." M smiled.
"Do you always notice how many stories are in a building?" asked Miss Watts.
"Yes, ma'am," said M. "I'm afraid of heights. My mother always told me that whatever you are most afraid of, then that's usually the first thing you notice wherever you go."
"Your mother? How is your mother?" asked Miss Watts.
"She's well, thank you," said M. "Do you know her?"
"No, I'm sorry. I meant, please tell me about your mother. What does she do?"
Ms. Watts leaned forward in her seat, scratching even more notes into her book. M took a minute to consider this last question. She looked over at the other girl. When was Ms. Smith going to get her interview? And would M have to sit through that? M studied Ms. Watts's face carefully. Why did the woman look so familiar to M one minute and like a total stranger the next? And the way she'd asked about M's mother was so casual, not at all like an interviewer, and certainly not like someone who had never met her mother before. "My mother is an art historian," M finally answered. "Excuse me, Ms. Watts, I'm sorry, but have we met before?" "An art historian can be a demanding job," interjected Ms. Smith from her side of the room. "Is your mother around much?" It was true. M's mother was a total workaholic. She constantly flew from museum to college to private art collection all around the world. M wished she could tag along sometimes, but her mother was very strict about her sticking to her homeschool studies. "My mother is very good at her job, and sometimes her job keeps her from the house, but that's true of a lot of single parents," M said, though